In his New Year's address, South Korean President Yoon put much emphasis on managing the local economy. He also laid out plans for reforms in labor, education, and pensions. For more, we have Professor Se-ryun of Kyung University with us. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
First of all, what do you think is the motivation behind President Yoon's push for an urgent need to reform in labor, education, and pensions? I mean, why these three sectors?
Well, it seems clear that he sees the mission number one for the nation and for his office is to navigate through the tough economic terrain. So the whole New Year's message is centered around how to get back to economic competitiveness, innovation, and export. So the labor, education, and pension are, on one hand, the long overdue reform messages, but are particularly crucial in shaping new economic environment for Korea. So taken together, he seems to envision a flexible labor market, a tilt towards more business-friendly environment, more decentralized education policies, as well as rationalizing pension schemes. These are all conservative agenda and more market-based reforms. I think that his policy colors are becoming more clear and vivid.
Right, and also Yoon pledged to, again, power through economic difficulties in the new year through exports as well as diplomacy. I mean, how crucial is diplomacy when it comes to managing the economy, especially during this administration?
Right. Diplomacy usually go with the security and economy, but recently the new Cold War era means that diplomacy takes on a heightened meaning as countries are sort of forced to take sides. It seems like there are two different ecosystems of supply chains developing. So for a country that depends on US-led security system and also trades heavily with China, this is a conundrum and a diplomatic challenge. So diplomacy going forward could be very crucial in terms of who we trade with and how that affects our relationship with key allies.
Right, I agree. The economy and diplomacy always come together, especially during this era. And what did you find particularly notable in the address? Any part of the speech we need to pay special attention to?
Well, it was a short message, 10 minutes or so, but I do take note that once again, the whole speech is couched in the notion of liberty. He often invoked that value, but before it was kind of vague and conceptual. But it is taking on shape and fleshing out more and more. The liberty he sees is more economic notion, along with fairness and opportunity in the market. He sees the need for reform to bring more market-based rationale rather than some ideology-based social engineering projects. Again, and that's what we expect from a conservative government. So at least his message is consistent. Another thing I note is it's kind of disappointing that the address was done without any media present. No Q&As and no mention of working together with the main opposition party. This made his speech feel like a sort of a one-way communication. I think it betrays his pledges of transparent communication and the legislative cooperation that his projects require. The press, undoubtedly is very important to the president because it's the principal intermediary between the president and the public, and the relationship with the press is a very important aspect of a president's effort to lead the public opinion. So in that sense, I think that there has to be a more effort to make his policies known in terms of how he communicates with the public and also press corps.
Sure. And before we let you go, one more question. There was no mention of North Korea in the New Year's address. Why, and did this surprise you in any way?
Well, not really, because he was focusing on economy as his primary agenda. So he was forsaking other agenda in the first place. But I do note that North Korea, despite the recent provocation, is absent in a very spectacular way, which means that North Korea should feel that they are slighted. I think that this president's policy, this government's policy, is that they're not going to even mention or even respond to North Korea's provocations because North Korea wants the attention that way, and this government is determined not to give in that way.
That's right. We'll keep a close eye on the North's moves, especially in the new year. All right, Professor Song, thank you for your insight this morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. My pleasure. Thank you.